own your shit. Don't just pretend you're all shiny and you're better than everybody else, because you're not. No one is. Everyone's got the flaws. Everybody's product's got the flaws.
Our PR agency is a bit like a personal trainer, where if the goal is to win an award, a PR agency's going to know how to get you there quicker.
We had an incident last year where I was like a finalist in some award. What she now needs to do is canvass for votes for this award. We were just straight away, no way are we doing that, because it'll cheapen us and we don't want to do that. We don't want to be that person, hey, vote for me. Like, I mean, I won it, which was the mad thing. Like I did win it.
We're all pretending that this is dead exciting and we're really happy to be here, when the reality is it's just a business to me. On this episode, we take a look at brand humanisation and discuss the history and stories behind the current trend of brands acting more human online. We also discuss employer branding and review the results from Dan's latest recruitment campaign, which landed him KFC as a new client. We've also got Sophie and Zoe from Moja, a PR agency, in the studio to share with us their advice and strategies on entering and winning awards and getting your business featured in the press and media. Brands are acting more and more like humans on social media. In fact, we've got to the point where we're seeing official company accounts sharing feelings of anxiety, anger, and sometimes taking the piss. Its official title is Parasocial Interaction. This is the psychological relationship between the audience and mass media. In this episode, we discuss where it all began, discuss some funny examples, question whether some of the brands have taken it too far, and decide whether it's actually a successful marketing method you can use in your own business.
I want to talk about this tweet. For those who missed it, a passenger tweeted a picture from Ryanair flight with the caption, "Seriously, Ryanair, I paid for the window seat," and she sat next to the door with a tiny hole for a window. The Ryanair Twitter account then replied, and they'd circled the small hole, implying that was the window. Now, the post got over 600,000 likes, and like most things on the internet, opinion was split. Some found it funny, others described it as unprofessional. What I'd like to know is, do you think this kind of brand humanisation through social accounts can work?
Well, first things first, that tweet is a joke. The person posting it originally is joking because they've actually paid for extra legroom. They've got what they paid for. It's just a humorous observation that if it was a window seat, it's small, right? And I think that's impacted how Ryanair have actually responded to that. If it was a genuine complaint of someone that paid for a window seat and got that, I don't think they would have responded in the same way.
They do respond in the same way. So if you look at through Ryanair's Twitter account, like if someone complains they've got no leg room, they do like take it on the chin.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
but I'm a big fan of that. Listen, Ryanair's, it's a shit airline. It stinks of piss, right? but it's cheap. And if they go, I think their tagline should be something like, "We stink of piss, but you'll still fly with us." Because it's cheap. And I will still fly with them. I fucking hate Ryanair. There's no leg room. It's horrible. The seats are cheap. The people on there are knobs.
They're not going to lose clients.
But if I can pay 30 quid to get to Bulgaria and go and, have a piss up with the lads, I'm going to do it. I think actually taking that approach and having that human voice and just not giving a shit and giving people stick when they give you stick will actually create quite a good brand, and one that it's actually going to be have more of a positive effect for them than it will a negative effect. They've already got a negative effect. So we've been going around brands at the minute going, own your shit. Don't just pretend you're all shiny and you're better than everybody else, because you're not. No one is. Everyone's got the flaws. Everybody's product's got the flaws. And chances are your customers know about the flaws as well. So if you own it, there's not really much people can say.
Yeah.
If you don't own it, people are going to keep complaining, and it makes you, eventually it'll, damage your brand. So
I saw a post on LinkedIn about this very post, and I got into it with a couple of people on there, and they were saying like this is going to do more harm to Ryanair than good, and I couldn't, and this isn't good marketing. It's really bad for the brand. I couldn't disagree more. It will do absolutely zero harm. But then I just thought, but why is everyone taking this seriously when it is a joke? But I think it has zero impact. The people that aren't going to fly Ryanair aren't going to fly Ryanair. They don't fly Ryanair anyway. So they're not actually turning off anybody that would fly them. You just literally, like you said, I look for Ryanair, Jet2, and EasyJet. Which one gets me to the place cheapest and isn't going to double my price when you started in bags? That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, we all love moaning about shit stuff, but we still use it. It's the reality of it. Like Ryanair aren't asked. Anyone who thinks that's bad marketing doesn't really understand marketing.
And also, they're replying to somebody else's as well. So it's not even that they've not done this first. They've just responded to somebody.
Yeah.
What I have got a problem with these brands trying to be humanized is when it's all the big brands, when it's like, remember the beans on Weetabix and shit like that. And I've just got this idea that they're all just sat in the same Shoreditch marketing agency, all sat around the same company, all sat around the same table. And they think it's like, well, I reply to you, you pretend that, and you're the Jaffa Cake guy, and you're the whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the reason they get it wrong is because they're so detached from reality. They're so detached from your every man and every woman and every whatever you identify as, right? A lot of these people are so detached. A lot of these big brands are so detached from what's actually going on in the real world. So you've got a load of marketing execs sat in a room who are middle class, shot through uni, probably don't understand the mass market as well as they think they do, and all their kind of banter and their attempts at appealing to them just fall flat. Yeah. Whereas I honestly think that Ryanair's marketing team is probably just a couple of scroats in a room getting paid 10 grand each, and they're just giving people shit online. And I think that's it. If you want to give people shit properly, and you really want to get down with the every man and every woman and every other person, you've got to hire people who can relate to them.
Do you know what I think the best Ryanair tweet I've seen this year is? Do you remember when Prince William was accused of having a mistress that he gets pegged by? Yeah, and the maddest thing was, so Prince William, turns out he's got a mistress that pegs him because that's what he's into, and I think his missus won't do that to him.
And is this true?
Well, I mean, I don't know how true it is. I wasn't there, but it's just a rumour that goes around. Anyway,
hoax.
Ryanair did a picture of some seats with 2 arms down and the middle arm up. And that's been my favourite tweet of the year that Ryanair has done for just jumping in. And it's a Prince William, we've got a seat for you.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
So they've obviously been given some freedom to bring humour. One of the points I had was, are we seeing this type of humanising because social teams and marketers are getting a bit more freedom within their brands?
It probably is, but it's also because people aren't getting results anymore. So all this fucking making everything look like it's shiny just doesn't sell. Because you know what? There's a million and one other businesses that are trying to do the same. So it doesn't make you stand out. So people are desperate now. Any brand can do it, but it's also very easy to get wrong. And there's a big difference between speaking like a human and being relatable to your target audience and going too far. And a lot of the time we find brands that go too far, and then other times we find brands that just can't get their heads around it, and they remain corporate and get the same results.
So how do you protect yourself from going too far? Or is it you just put the stuff out there and you find out if it was too far by the reaction?
You've got to test, it's just testing. We've got it wrong loads and loads of times. My Theresa May CV nearly ended my career. I know that's my boundary now. I'll never do that again.
Yeah,
but I guess, Dan, you've made the point before that people have got short memory spans, right? So you can get these things wrong and recover quite quickly.
They do, yeah. We call them forgetful fucks. You know, it's the same reason we people are still think Tiger Woods is this amazing person despite him putting his dick in everything since God knows when. People forget about stuff when it suits them. It's the same thing with the H&M and the cheeky little monkey T-shirt. People always forget about things. If they see a new dress on H&M that they like, they've forgotten about the fact that they've made a racist blunder.
Yeah.
It's the same with anything. You've got to test stuff.
I agree. I feel like this is a new way of them just making you forget that they're a brand at all.
Yeah.
So like,
you mean Ryanair, or just brands that follow this kind of way?
Yeah, that use this. Yeah. Like, why would they talk like human? It seems a bit weird because it's like, why am I listening to like Weatherspoons talk about how they feel? I mean, Chris, I guess you've got the origins of where this came from, haven't you?
So I did a bit of research, and it basically started off with the Denny's Tumblr account, 2013. They basically started sharing memes and replying to people's comments in a human way. Yeah. And then what happened after that, then brands kind of cottoned on. And you started to get McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King all having like beef on Twitter, WWE style trash talk. There's another one from Burger King replying to Kanye West.
Yeah,
about McDonald's. Yeah. This was then the rise of people replying with the meme silence brand. So people were realizing that these corporations are trying to talk like humans. Really, they're a big corporation that want to make money off you.
Yeah,
they're not a human.
But my argument would be so there's a big difference. This might be again where people are getting it wrong. There's a big difference between trying to speak like someone and them seeing through it, right? And there's a big difference between being who you are and being honest. So if you're a brand if you do actual adverts that say, yeah, we're trying to sell this to you, we need more money. Remember that, what was it that put that add up, and it was like, we need to hit our sales targets this month, was it?
Oh, I can't remember.
What do you remember what that brand was?
We should know, shouldn't we? As
Yeah, we should do.
supposed
Yeah, I
marketing.
can't remember who it was.
What was it? You can have a quick look if you
There
want.
was
It's like your one. Want to buy a watch?
basically, want to buy a watch, or buy a watch if you want.
Yeah.
Because it's more about being honest and transparent and going, and then speaking in a way that's relatable to them. So that just looks like you're speaking to another person. You're not trying to mimic me. It's just like, this is me. I'm a standalone thing, and this is who I am. And yeah, I want to make money off you, so buy shit.
I guess we've got to the point where brands like Sunny D are posting that they're depressed. Did you see that one?
Yeah, so got a couple of examples.
That's mental.
It's mad, isn't it?
But there's
Sunny D's posted that he's depressed.
I'd take it back. That's mental.
So you're a brand, you're not depressed. So
But that's the difference. Now, so it's not
That's when
about
them get
humanising the
yeah.
brand just for the sake of it. It's about being honest and transparent. That's a huge fucking difference, and that's what they're getting wrong.
And I guess humanising it is all those things, though, isn't it? It's anxiety, depression, fear, being snarky, being pissed off.
I mean, so better. Sunny D should be tweeting like, "We're a sugary drink. Don't give it your kids at night."
Yeah.
It'll make you.
We don't make your kids orange anymore.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. But people, if you're that honest, and people think that will harm brands, it won't. People go, yeah. At least they're honest.
They're trying to appeal to people that no one really would follow Sunny D on Twitter, right? No. What's the point? No. But if they're tweeting like a normal person, and you're more likely to follow someone that's going to be a bit of beef between McDonald's and Burger King. Sunny D's tweeting, and other people are tweeting back as a normal person.
These are the ones I hate, where I just think they've got to be the same marketing. So to take Moon Pie there, I don't know what Moon Pie is.
Yeah.
Why have they responded? Is there some link? Are they owned by the same umbrella company? This is what that's what I think.
They will be as well, but it's not really achieving anything. What drives me insane as well, particularly on LinkedIn, is the marketing industry. People in the marketing industry wanking off big brands for doing a semi-witty tweet. That's not good marketing. That's just, you've got someone who's witty, who can be witty now and again.
It's not even witty, though, is it?
KFC, no, it's not. KFC doing 2 semi-witty tweets. Actually, I'll because we just nearly signed them as a client. Yeah. McDonald's doing 2 semi-witty.
We'll stop and then you can go. We'll go again from McDonald's.
I think that could be good beeped though.
No, you can keep it in. I'm not, right, but McDonald's doing 2 semi-witty tweets a year is not good fucking marketing. That's not good marketing. Stop wanking them off.
Do even brands like maybe I've lost the plot here with what I'm about to say, but do brands like McDonald's need to even do marketing on Twitter? Do they?
They've got to stay relevant, I guess. Haven't they?
But do you know what I mean? Like, who's going, oh, I've just seen that tweet by McDonald's, I'm going to go and buy a McDonald's. Like, it's kind of, I think brands, when they get to that level, like, kids are eating at McDonald's forever, right? Like, why are they on Twitter?
They're not doing this on any other platform, right? They're just doing it on Twitter. Yeah. This is where people
it's just the evolution of where people are, right? Yeah. So they used to have Ronald McDonald because he was based on Bobo the Clown to get kids to eat fatty foods, and now it's the kids are on social media, so they've got to have a presence.
So I don't know. So if McDonald's got like a TikTok and if McDonald's got like an Instagram,
they will have,
Each store has their own TikTok. McDonald's
depends if they're a franchise.
That's in most. A lot of big companies are the same with that.
That blows my mind.
You don't see that Superdrug thing? The 2 girls, they always act on TikTok.
Oh no.
It's shy, but it's hilarious.
Oh, I really need a Father's Day gift for this Sunday. What am I going to get?
Well, we've got the Fizzy Duck for £5, the Hugo Boss for £38, and the Versace for £21.
Oh, I think I'll take them all. What a good deal.
There's another one about brands kind of trying to humanize themselves. And it was an example with Chase Bank sharing a meme, and they're known for really bad kind of fees to make you go in your overdraft and stuff, but they're tweeting stuff like that, and it just like feels like they're massively out of touch. They're trying to be playing to the meme crowd, the Gen Z crowd, but that just doesn't sit right to me, to be honest.
I guess that goes back to Dan's earlier point. Like, you've got to fit your established brand and your voice.
It's not. That's not them though. So I'm not looking at that going, oh, that's you. If Chase Bank were going, we fucked up people's lives with PPI. I mean, I don't know, is that an American bank? Or?
They're American bank, right, They're in the UK now, though.
But they've fucked some people's lives up somehow, and they were honest about it and gone, but here's how we're doing better. That'd be more relatable, because I go, you have, but fair enough, you're going to try something that's different and try and be better.
Yeah.
Not, I'm going to make shit memes that are, because they're always half-baked memes as well. They're not actually funny. Because they can never go far enough to make a good meme.
Do you think it depends on your target audience as well?
Yeah. It's got to, hasn't it?
It does.
Because, I mean, take some of the other accounts I've seen that have gone a bit too far. I don't think Chase Bank could say some of the things that Ty Lopez company could say.
Yeah, so if we talk about when brands go, I guess, what we consider too far, there's another Twitter account that's taken this style of posting to the extreme.
Yeah.
So Radio Shack, American High Street Electronics Store, I guess the UK equivalent would be something like Curry's. Now, out of the blue, their Twitter account goes dark, and they tweet, if you find a squirter, marry her, right? So people's heads fall off because they're like, why is in the equivalent Curry's now posting this type of stuff? The account goes viral, everyone's talking about them. Turns out Radio Shack have filed for bankruptcy, and it's been taken over by this company called Retail E-Commerce Ventures. Their executive chairman is Ty Lopez, who we know and is featured on the Entrepreneur Bingo.
Yeah.
But I'm a businessman.
And he's relaunched it as a cryptocurrency. So the coin is called Radio, hence the crazy tweets.
What's that got to do with?
I think
what's
just
the
think
purpose of that?
To go viral.
Pure
Just
people just to
viral.
find out about the account, think what the fuck's going on there, and then by the way, we're now a crypto coin.
I suppose it's worth.
There'll be like a meme coin, or they're playing into that meme culture of meme coins doing well.
I suppose that's worth. Yeah. I mean, it's mental, but I suppose if it's got the attention he wants.
What's a squirter anyway? I don't get it.
Pull up the VT.
Do you guys remember when Burger King did the International Women's Day tweet? So this was this tweet.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it was followed something
I actually
with.
thought that was good.
Yeah.
I get what they're saying, right?
It was followed with a tweet that was all about gender ratio,
See,
which made sense.
That's clever.
I think that's good, but I got that without the explanation. Like I get what they're doing, right? Because having worked in McDonald's, most of the people in the kitchen are male, right?
Yeah.
And the women got jobs like doing front of house jobs.
Yeah.
But there was no reason why they shouldn't be in the kitchen. But it was seen as like a more manly, more dangerous job. You know, it's the heat in there and it's fast paced. So same women belong in the kitchen, having worked in fast foods. Like I get what they mean, especially on that day. I reckon some people's heads would have fell off just reading that if it didn't have the explanation tweets underneath.
That would have been part of the strategy, though. That's part
Of course.
Yeah.
But I think that's the best type.
It's
of
all
content,
about-
right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I think what was interesting with that one, that tweet got deleted, right?
Yeah, so it was all about kind of understanding Twitter as a platform. Like, you know that could be taken out of context by a retweet. So the majority of retweets were from kind of like the alt-right, thinking that was the only statement they gave and not understanding it was about International Women's Day.
Right, so we went a bit south.
On Twitter, this doesn't work, I don't think. And every other platform, when you've got it as a print ad or
It'd be
whatever,
a good job ad
potentially
with
work.
the explanation on the same ad.
Yeah.
But if it's a thread and you're having to look elsewhere for what they actually mean, then that's probably not good. But,
I think that's where they go.
that as a statement piece on the job ad and then in smaller text, the explanation of it would have been a brilliant.
This is interesting that you say this because what you're saying there was kind of what I disagreed with on that Ryanair tweet on LinkedIn. So the guy was saying Ryanair are taking the piss out of someone that's paid for something, they've ripped someone off, they expected a window seat, they've not got it. And I went and said, they've not paid for a window seat. Here's what seat that is. It's advertised. So I actually got a screenshot of and said it's extra legroom. And he said, marketing shouldn't have to involve people having previous knowledge or having to think of the context of what that thing is. And I was thinking, but why shouldn't it? Because you can't account for, what would you call them? I'm trying to find a nice name, like lowest common denominator.
I feel like none of us
bottom set people,
I feel like none of us have got the right words today.
you know what I mean? Like you can't account for stupid, right? So that when you're doing marketing, you can't think, there might be one person that doesn't get the reference here, so I can't put that thing out because it relies on some sort of life experience or point of reference or context. Like that to me doesn't need context, so it could go out as it was. You can't account for, or like the fact that they deleted it. It's bothered me more because I think but why have they deleted it? Just because some fuckwits didn't get it? There will always be that fuckwit, right? And it's mad that a brand like Burger King, even with all the stuff that explains it, and if you look at the timings as well, they've explained it afterwards. So like one's 9 hours, one's 2 hours later, and they're still doing this. It's almost like they shouldn't even have to do that. But I get what you mean, because people can take it out of context, but that's because people are thick, right?
Yeah.
It goes talking about, I guess, PR disasters in general, and how you kind of
So would you have said that was a PR disaster? That tweet?
It got a lot of bad press.
Yeah. The only way you'd know if it's a PR disaster is if it affected sales, share price, shit like that. So we don't know the actual results behind it. It's like when people go, I know I was slagging off going, McDonald's tweeting twice a year is shit marketing. I don't actually know, it might be good marketing.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, it was quite funny with this one because KFC, weirdly, was talking about brands getting involved. KFC Gaming replied with the best time to delete this Twitter post was immediately after posting. The second time is now. And they kind of doubled down explaining that, this is raising more awareness, etc. 3 hours later, they deleted the tweet. So, stick to your guns if you're going to say that. But
Chris, you liked the Walker's Crisps example, didn't you?
Yeah.
How disaster's gone wrong.
Yeah, so this was a campaign. So this was a campaign that Walkers ran in 2017. It was about how you could, if you tweeted a selfie on their Twitter account, it would auto generate a video, and you'd have the chance to win tickets to the Champions League final. Okay. And obviously, the kind of rule to this story is don't let the public control your brand, because these tweets were going straight out live to on the Walkers Twitter. So anything that was posted that it recognised the face, you couldn't put a knob on there. Right?
Do they not know the British public?
Exactly. And a lot of brands have fallen into this, but I think this is the one that stuck out for me. So this is this is the kind of stuff this is the kind of stuff that people submitted.
Thanks for joining the Walkers Wave and celebrating the UEFA Champions League final. Nice selfie. Here you are, uniting with other fans outside the National Stadium of Wales. Thanks for joining the Walkers Wave and celebrating the UEFA Champions League final. Nice selfie. Thanks for joining the Walkers Wave and celebrating the UEFA Champions League final. Nice selfie.
What happened with that as well is they also had a 30-foot screen outside the Cardiff City Stadium that would automatically play those every time they would submit.
Nice.
So, massive fail.
What's mad about this is, like with most things, people just wreck it. No matter, best laid plans are always wrecked by a dickhead. And it can be like, can't everyone just be sound and just be sensible and just be nice?
Especially the British public.
But we can't, can we?
Yeah.
I saw a lot when, during COVID and stuff, there might have been fans that had died, and you could submit fans that had died and it'd get put on the screen in the stadium. And there were loads, like Mike Hunt was in there and Mike Crotch and all these different things where just people making shit up. Even was it Osama bin Laden was in one of them.
That was Leeds United during COVID.
Yeah,
he was on the front row.
Front row. They put fake fans in, and Osama bin Laden's just sat there in the front row because people just...
Yeah. To go back to what Gary Lineker actually replied, that's had an unusual day in with some very strange company. I'm sure we'll wave them all goodbye tomorrow. And then they deleted the thread in the morning. Right. So it was gone. So they kind of laughed it off.
Yeah. But, well, at least they owned it.
I guess in summary, going back to the Ryanair tweet, it worked for them because that's kind of their brand anyway.
Yeah.
What are we saying for other brands?
If you are like a serious brand and it doesn't suit it, you wouldn't want the NHS making jokes. Oh, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Half price beds, lol.
There's a way of way of making yourself more human, but it's just about more being honest and transparent. That's what I think it is, and it's not just, like I say, not every brand is or can be funny.
We hear a lot about the rise of silent quitting and the war for talent. One way companies are differentiating themselves in the labour market is employer branding. And we've seen a lot of bigger companies run expensive, large-scale employer branding campaigns recently. In this episode, we discuss what it is and why it can be effective, and Dan shares the metrics behind his own recruitment campaign that ultimately landed him a contract with KFC.
An employer brand is just a brand, and anyone who tells you it's not a brand is full of shit, and they're just trying to make it more complicated. It's just a brand. It's exactly the same thing. The only difference is when you're a small company, your brand and the way you portray yourself to people and online to your customers is your employer brand. That's why people want to come and work for you, because of what they see you do as a brand. You're only a small team. If you're just hiring one person, trying to build a separate employer brand with different colours and a different voice is just fucking dumb. But as you get, the bigger you get, your employees or potential employees, candidates out there, are going to want different things and expect different things than your consumers are and your customers are. So you have to start kind of siphoning off a different brand. It might have a different voice, different colours, a different purpose, different targets, different aims. That's all it is. It's just two separate brands. An employer brand works exactly the same way as a brand works, but the only difference is an employer brand's purpose is to bring in talent.
And you've been helping some bigger companies do this, right?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work in employer brand and recruitment marketing for the likes of Entain, guys who own Ladbrokes, Coral, all the rest of them. And we've just won KFC. And we've worked on a few employer brands for kind of SMEs where they get into that stage where they need to start siphoning.
So when you're saying you do work for them, so what would that be? Would that be writing job ads for them and putting out content specifically aimed at recruitment campaigns, right?
Well, it's the same things you do to develop a brand, and that's all the way from taglines, tone of voice, identifying who their target audience and who they're trying to bring in, the type of people they're trying to bring in, doing a bit of a breakdown of their culture and maybe the improvements that can be made there. And then all the way through to recruitment marketing. So whether that's job ads, whether it's content you're putting out online that could be attractive to potential employees, that sort of thing. Exactly the same as you build a brand. It's no different, really.
And I guess you walk the walk with this, right? So Offended, you ran your own employer branding campaign recently.
Yeah, this would be more recruitment marketing. So we're too small to have an employer brand, but this is recruitment marketing, I'd say.
Right.
Because it's just ads. Because that's the thing is, if you're a smaller company, right, you don't need to go all the way down of how does our employer brand speak, what colour is it going to be, all the rest of it. You just don't need to do it. It's fucking nonsense. But because you can bring people in with good content and you can bring people in with clever job ads.
Yeah.
Right. And we kind of proved that.
So walk us through that example.
So I mean, we like I say, I've been harping on about it for ages about about brands being transparent and honest. I think it's the same when you're trying to get candidates through the door as well, because there's too many brands for too long that are fucking hyping up jobs, saying this is the best job in the world. You come here, you'll love it. We look at us, we've got some bean bags and a ping pong table, and look, they've got an office dog called Fred. And you should come here, it'd be amazing. And then they get into the job and it's absolutely nothing like the job spec describes. They're doing loads more work, loads more hours. The people are cunts. And they end up quitting. And people wonder why. So I'm a big believer in setting expectations with your marketing. So in the same way you would with a product and go, these things are shit about our product, but these things are good and we're going to improve those things. You do the same with your recruitment marketing, because everybody knows if you work in marketing, there's part of a marketing job that's shit. Right? Yeah. We all know it's long hours sometimes, right? We all know the clients can be bell ends sometimes. We've got a few clients in VAMO, sorry, not you, the other ones. We all know that creativity is subjective, so people can ask for stupid changes like make it pop more. Nonsense. It's nonsense, but you have to deal with it, right? All of these things are the reality of working in marketing, and hiding that, particularly to anybody who's coming into a junior role, hiding what it's really like to work in marketing, you either get the wrong people who don't want to put in the hours, and end up hating it and causing you loads of problems and leaving, or you bring in senior people who weren't aware that your agency operates differently.
Yeah,
we're not perfect. We've got loads of good things about our agency, but they're essentially just the same good things that other good agencies have. That's not going to help us stand out from the crowd. But if we're honest about the shit bits, the people who can cope with those shit bits are the ones that will apply for us. Also, because there's a bit of humour in it, the people with the right sense of humour and get the way those are written and why they're written like that will also probably be the people who can write like that as well.
Yeah, that's hugely important. I think that thing, by putting that type of content out there, you will attract those people that's their kind of tone of voice. That's the kind of place they want to work. That's kind of how they feel about the job they're going to be doing. So I think it's such a clever way of. Almost, it's like your first filter. Like, I'm only going to apply because I like that type of content.
Exactly.
And that's the actual job they're going to be doing, right?
And I mean, as well, it works as doing things like this differently work as a great piece of marketing as well. Because we put it out, it got a ton of views, it got everywhere, and it became more than just attracting talent. I mean, we ended up with over 100 applications. We had a short list for over 3 jobs of about 10 people. We've done all the interviews now, and we've just offered 3 people, right? That's in a space of 2 weeks, 3 weeks, right? That's a short recruitment marketing campaign. I don't know any big brands that we've worked with or any small brands that we've worked with on recruitment marketing that have done something that fast. And the level of applications was good. I mean, some were weird. We've got some fucking weird applications off the street scanning QR codes, but that not only as that happened and we made those offers, we've also attracted the attention of KFC, for instance, and we've just signed our supplier forms to now work with KFC on recruitment marketing campaigns.
Yeah, because you're displaying what you could actually do for someone else's brand right there. So it's worth twice as much. And also, it's shareable. It's like social media friendly. those images were shared. I shared them on Facebook. We've done the Ask to my like 17 followers, whatever it is. In the VAMO community, we've got the newsletter and stuff like that. But that's one thing I was going to say. The thing about this, and my only kind of experience of doing something like this, is when we had Learning Heroes, we wrote a bit of a zany job ad, which meant that it kind of attracted zany, crazy people. And it was like, it went the other way. Instead of attracting the kind of person that we wanted, because I think it might have made references to wizards or something, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. They were fairly shit job ads, wasn't they?
Yeah, they were quite shit job ads, but people latched on to the use of like, we want an animation wizard, when shit like that. We got it wrong. And then it was like come back like, what's that famous wizard from? I'm the Gandalf of animations. And it was just like, leave it now. It was funny in that it wasn't funny, but you've used it once, but stop making so many references to wizards. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the interesting part about this...
did you get many of them though? That's what I was
gonna say. We did. The interesting part about this is that we still got all of those. I think because Offended's grown as a brand now, and it's quite well known, particularly in Manchester.
That's the only place we're known, I think, by the way. I really think that's
I'm not even known there, Berry. The level of applications that we're getting through over time now is better anyway. So when people see, Offended, I've got some jobs going, I've wanted to work for Offended for a while, that quality's gone up. But we're still getting the mental ones as well. We're still getting the people who read that, realise we swear, and then just jump into my inbox going, give me a job, you prick. And they're missing the point again, because it's not about the swearing. The swearing is used to make it more impactful, but the clever bit is behind that. It's not just about swearing.
I thought they were really clever. It was really interesting to see them. But I did wonder, is that something people could do themselves, or have you pulled it off because you've got good copywriting, good experience?
Who wrote them, by the way? Was it?
I wrote those.
All of them.
It was my campaign. Yeah,
they're really good.
Are they really?
Yeah.
So Dean's not going to be in my DM saying fucking Dan.
Dean don't write. Dean's commercial. He will. I don't touch the money. Yeah. He don't touch the writing.
Oh, nice.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah. So that's the deal.
Do you think the average Joe, I guess, an average business needs help with this type of stuff, or is there stuff they could try themselves?
It depends. Some businesses need help, some don't. I mean, if you got me, you don't.
Yeah.
If you don't, you do.
I think it's rare to have that type of ability to write that type of ad in-house, or even have the bravery to post it.
I've got a couple of questions about this campaign. Oh, go on, sorry.
I was going to say, what the interesting thing as well is, most of our detractors, most of the people who fucking hate this and get me shit on
this is what I was about to talk about.
We're all copywriters.
Right, really? So this is what I was going to ask.
Give me shit saying it's bad copy, you don't know what you're doing, it's poor, it's lazy.
Yeah, but if it gets better results, I always say this. Someone had a go at me for being dyslexic on LinkedIn the other day. And I was like, it must be so annoying for you being able to write pitch perfect, know where punctuation perfect, know where apostrophes go.
Yeah.
And no one gives a fuck about anything you put out.
Yeah.
And here's me, can't spell.
Yeah.
Hasn't got a clue. I just throw apostrophes around left, right, and centre, just hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets far more engagement on anything you've ever done.
Well, I said that the copywriters kicking off generally want to get 2 likes. I mean, that to me just screams jealousy.
That means you're a shit copywriter, really. Otherwise, you should be able to dumb it down and speak to your audience. But what I was going to say is 2 things about this campaign. Number one, is it called? It's not fly tipping. What's the equivalent for posters?
Fly posting.
Yeah. So was it just fly posting?
It's fly posting. Yeah. I mean, Dean on his post tagged in Manchester Council as well. I mean, we're already, at loggerheads with them about business rates. But he did tag him in, and I did start to think. Actually, I started looking into fines, and they're quite hefty.
Really?
Yeah.
So there was that one, and then also I saw that some people had defaced them.
Yeah.
Now I think in a weird way, that's
not some people. No. All of our posters that were defaced were done with a white pen and a black pen. So someone either had a white pen and a black pen in their bag. I'm pretty sure it's a bit of a coincidence that every poster was defaced where someone scribbled out words and wrote their own word in white, and then scribbled out our QR codes in a black pen. Every single one of them. So I think someone who really, really hates us that much has gone around Manchester defacing them
on purpose.
In which case,
George.
Is he from Manchester?
Could be George, couldn't it?
Georgie?
The guy who gives me shit on every YouTube video.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So the only guy with a gravy sandwich again.
To be fair, you've probably upset quite a few people.
But I think isn't it mad? And it kind of makes you think how little is going on in your life that can bother you so much that you would actually go on a fucking scouting mission around the Northern Quarter to find these posters to deface them.
I think it proves what we've done. It works though, because when was the last time
I wonder how many
someone
you would have got,
was that
by the way.
bothered that was that bothered by the job ads? They've gone round and defaced them with a pen.
I'd love to know how many applicants you would have got. You said like you had 100 applicants or whatever. It could have been like 150, 200. It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
How long was it before you found out they'd been defaced?
We didn't. Well, to be honest, we left them a couple of days, and it was only then we saw the bit of a dip in the QR code scans that I think somebody saw them. Some had been pulled down, and then a few had been defaced with a white pen and thingy. But
it is interesting. We've worked with a few clients and recruiters recently who said they're really struggling to fill roles. There's just not the people to fill the roles. So companies are going to have to work harder, both on the terms and the jobs and making sure they're not shit, and also the way you entice people in the first place. I mean, we're bad for it at IAM. We just post on Indeed and put the job out. Still get a decent response because there's not many animation studios in Warrington that are asking for people. But that said, I think you put us to shame with this one. It was one of the topics we covered in more depth on the VAMO community last month, and thanks for sharing sort of the details and the bones of it and the results. That was really good. Last month we also talked about the decoy effect, which is a simple pricing strategy to sell more. We talked about how to sell to corporates. With everyone feeling a squeeze, we wanted to show how you could get hold of budget holders. And we did a video on paid media this week and how some companies waste ad spend by simply throwing cash at Google, Facebook and LinkedIn. So all of those can be found in the VAMO community, 150 quid for the year, 15 quid a month. There's also a free monthly roundup that you can sign up to. So if you like any of that stuff, go and check it out.
Go and check it out. Some good stuff to improve your business. Public relations, also known as PR, is a strategy used by businesses to get known. Things like awards, press, and media. I'm a bit of a skeptic, so I brought in Sophie and Zoe from Moja, a PR agency, to ask how people can use it in their own marketing and boost business.
I think the suspicion sometimes with awards is that people are chosen not because of their work, but because of their connections. Do you think there's any truth in that?
Probably.
100%.
Yeah, probably.
I can think of some people on LinkedIn that would definitely win awards because of the audience that they've got and the followers that they've got over the actual quality of their work experience, the results they get. Because it's a popularity contest for the most part, isn't it, right? And they want their awards to be seen by more people. Why would you pick the guy that nobody knows but has done sterling work in this particular field when you could pick someone that,
It's funny you say that. Actually, we had an incident last year where I was like a finalist in some awards, and we weren't familiar with those awards. And then I think they got in touch with the office and said, "Oh, Sophie's up for this overall award. What she now needs to do is canvass for votes for this award." And we were just straight away, no way are we doing that, because it'll cheapen us, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to be that person. Hey, vote for me! It wasn't us.
It's not X Factor, is it?
No. So we went back and we just said, well, thanks that I'm in this final for this, but we're not going to do that. And I won it, which was the mad thing. I did win it. We can say.
Yeah,
maybe.
so it was called Women's Business Club, but they sort of branded it as Women's Business Awards.
Yeah.
And I think all we had to do in the end was literally submit a tiny little bit of text, but that was the main thing, that they wanted you to canvass for votes. But I think it was very much based on that you had a really big online profile, and they knew that was going to get that exposure as well, which is a shame, because I think a really good thing about awards is that they do raise your profile, they do give you an opportunity to, reach a new audience, but it should be sort of that two-way relationship in terms of if you're nominated for an award or shortlisted or winning an award, it's really great for you to get out there and say, I've done this, and, you build your connections that way. But if it's just the award sort of latching on to people that already have that profile, it's a bit of a shame really, because it doesn't do the job in the same way, I don't think.
I think that's where the cynicism comes in, and I think I'm still in that camp and I need to be. But I think if I saw it as just a marketing activity, would we sell more animations if we had award-winning animation studio? Probably.
Yeah.
So we should probably put some focus and spend into winning one.
I can sell you a package that will help with that.
I'll go back to the e-learning awards when I won the 51st most influential person in e-learning. They only put me in that list because I took the piss out of that list the year before. Yeah. So I wasn't in there on merit. I wasn't in there because I'd achieved anything.
You don't know that.
It literally was. I said, these awards are bullshit. I work in e-learning and I've never heard of the top 10
But was that not just
in
you bringing yourself to their attention and influencing them?
It was just a genuine thing that I actually work in that industry and I've never heard of this person that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So then I think they did it to disarm me the year after.
Maybe.
And I didn't know anything about it. And then I got someone, you've been named as one of the most influential people in e-learning. I was like, what?
And how long was the list? 100?
The list was 100.
All
I
right,
didn't even know
51.
100 people. I was 51. So about par in it, halfway. But yeah, also 51st as well. So I was like, we're not going to give him like the coverage that he deserves, maybe, needs, wants. It was like they all had pictures and I was the first one without a picture. Do you know what I mean? So that's what they
Know
did.
your place.
They did me dirty.
So that award, Mike, and the other ones that you mentioned earlier.
What did I do with it afterwards?
Yeah. Did you sort of get anything off them?
I took the piss out of it, saying they've only put me in this list so I don't take the piss out of the awards this year. But then I changed my bio to the 51st most influential person in e-learning.
I was trying to think of analogies, and I was thinking our PR agency is a bit like a personal trainer, where if the goal is to win an award, a PR agency is going to know how to get you there quicker. And you're more likely to win an award if you use an agency rather than just waiting for someone to magically give you that badge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know where to start. We don't even know what awards we could enter, to be honest.
What, for VAMO?
No, for I Am.
For any, yeah.
Marketing Podcast of the Year award.
Why not?
Is there such a thing? There probably will be. won't
Yeah,
there?
there will be. There's
Yeah,
podcast awards,
podcast
isn't there?
awards, yeah.
Podcast awards. But as well, it's, if you were to then go to that, you'd probably have really interesting conversations with people at those kind of
Yeah,
awards.
but that's the bit I also don't like. I don't like
maybe it's
awards,
just not for you.
nominating yourself or having to talk to other people. But because I feel like we're all pretending.
Yeah.
We're all pretending that this is dead exciting and we're really happy to be here. When the reality is, it's just a business to me. They've got a business to run where they need you people to nominate yourselves and take money from you. And they need to hand out awards and you get the gravitas that comes with it. But you've got to pay 1,200 quid for your table. They've got sponsors sponsoring them for £6,000 who's probably going to win an award as well. To me, it's just business. And I think, like anything, it's been wrecked and gamified. Like anything now. I reckon awards maybe 10, 15 years ago, if you won Online Business of the Year in the UK, that would have been a big thing, especially with the FSB because there's quite a lot of members, right? But I think now, if I see the Forbes 30 under 30, there's that many subcategories.
Yeah.
It can be like 30 under 30 guy with a bum chin based in the northwest. It's
Got to win that one.
But that's what I mean. It's literally, it's like any business can win an award now. And I think it's kind of been tainted because of that. Just like any person can pay to be put in magazines or put in Forbes or whatever it might be. I think it's all been wrecked by people and entrepreneurs and people like that.
I was doing some research based on this topic, and I just got me thinking, who are the worst people to ever win awards?
Hitler. He won Time Man of the Year,
1936
No.
Times Man of the Year. It was Adolf Hitler, yeah.
You know why? Because he slashed unemployment and made a few motorways. I mean, if they just waited a couple of years to see where that led, he might not have won that award, right? But he was actually Man of the Year. Did you know this?
That's insane.
You know what? Someone did his application for him and met all the criteria. That's why.
The 1997 and 1998 Excellence in Asthma Award was won by Harold Shipman.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God.
Nice.
And R. Kelly won a Grammy, didn't he? How can you get press coverage for your small business?
So I think, first of all, you need to think about where you want to be seen and also what the story is. So a lot of people, obviously, they just want to sell stuff, right? Like that's their aim. But actually, if you're going to get proper press coverage, they don't want to publish a story about what you want to sell because it's not really that interesting or it's just too salesy. So I think it's clearly working out, clearly articulating what your goals are, what's the purpose of getting that coverage, and then thinking about what your hook might be to then go and sell it in. I think you can just be quite bold with approaching people and just thinking about, is it that you want to be on TV or the radio, or is there a special industry magazine or local press that you want to get in with, and you just get in touch with them. Should ignore them.
When you're saying this, who are you getting in touch with? Like, who would I actually be? You'd be finding who the journalist is that it has responsibility for the kind of story that you're putting forward. So it might be a features editor of a magazine or a newspaper or whatever. And it's really easy to find their email addresses. Twitter is really, really good. So I always see hashtag journal request on Twitter is quite a common.
Yeah. That is a good one. You've got to be really quick with that. And I guess the thing with that is you can see quickly how many people have replied, but also you can see how ineffective people's approaches are on that, because what you'll see in that is a thread of people going, yeah, I've got a client, or yeah, I'm interested, DM me. That journalist is not going to go into, like, you haven't given them a reason to DM you, right? So I saw one the other week where that had happened, and I just emailed directly the journalist that was asking for something, and I just put a couple of bullet points as to, you know, why I could be in that, and they replied straight away and they were like, this is perfect, can I just copy and paste this? Yes, you can.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that if you do a lot of the journalist work for them,
absolutely,
they actually like that, right?
They love it. They absolutely love it, because they're always busy, they're always on deadlines, you've got to make it really easy for them, and that is an effective approach for sure. They like it, you know, in the body of an email, so that they can just copy and paste. They don't want to open attachments. They don't want to have to download like massive, you know, big photos or whatever that's going to clog up their inbox. Yeah, make it easy for them.
When we were selling Learning Heroes, we actually did a bit of PR, didn't we? And it was always PR around growth, how many new staff we'd taken on, numbers and stuff like that.
It's a bit boring, isn't it?
No, but it was specifically for because we were trying to sell the business, so we wanted to be on the radar.
Right. So that's the aim, right? So your aim is, hey, who's going to buy the business? What kind of stories do they want to read about us?
So it was a deliberate strategy to let's do PR specifically about growth,
good news
stories,
stories,
we're doing turnover, new offices, 3 times as many staff in 12 months. That type of shit that is quite boring.
Yeah.
But solely because that would catch the eye of people that might be investors, potentially want to buy the business. So it was a very, very specific strategy and a reason for doing that. But I wouldn't want to do that kind of PR now.
I don't think it fits your brand.
No, the stuff with like Forbes talking about, not even Forbes, but if it's talking about entrepreneurs, scams, marketing, sales, I would rather do stuff like that and get into magazines for those reasons.
You did Times Magazine as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we've done Times. Yeah, we've done a few. We've done Times, Telegraph have done some stuff. I was even in a property magazine, but that was because of the Entrepreneur Formula video. They'd seen it and gone, this is rife, we want an interview with this person. So I feel like all PR that we've had, we've never paid for PR ever. All the PR we have actually got is because they've actually seen our content when they've been researching. That's why I think video is so important.
Yeah.
SEO, putting your content out there.
But you're right, Sophie. I think because we can be controversial and we're talking about things that are entertainment based, it's easier to get picked up. How does an average small business get their story? You know, say I am, you know, one of the VAMO members, Lisa Slater's got a new book out. She's a copywriter. Is there any chance of ever getting any PR or press around that stuff? How do you go about it?
It goes back to that whole hook thing, you know, what is interesting about her. Like sometimes when we you know, go to meet a client for the first time, I'm kind of thinking what I've seen and what I know about them. I'm kind of already thinking ahead, thinking how would we put them forward for something? And then you start asking them questions and they tell you the most like unique stories and you're like, bloody hell, like I've known of you for 5 years or whatever and I didn't know you did that. And it'll be really interesting, and then it's making sure that that fits in with their aims and that they're comfortable talking about it, and then that's the hook. And you know, we would do a lot of forward planning around looking across the year as to what's coming out, you know, what themes might be happening during the year and trying to sort of match things up in that sense.
Do you think that's better because they're telling you stories and you're identifying which are interesting stories? Because sometimes it feels, as business owners, they've not got interesting stories. They're trying to make quite boring and mundane things interesting.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And that's why, you know, more traditional PR agencies just whack out like press releases that are quite boring and they'll just send it out to the list and it might not get picked up anywhere, or it might get picked up with someone that they know at the local paper or whatever. And it's boring. It's really boring. And I think that's why you need to do something that is a bit more interesting. And I think, you know, it tends to be that founders' stories are the bit that makes them different, and it's their own personal experiences, and they are more interesting than their company because they've got stuff to talk about. And that's the hook, rather than, hey, you know, we did this with X amount of staff or whatever. And you might need a bit of that for the reasons that you said around an exit strategy, but if it's just a general PR strategy, it's just a bit boring. It's not going to get them a return on anything.
Yeah. But we have recently paid for some PR, haven't we?
Yes.
Have you?
What we found one where you could pay $97 for 5 articles. What was the ones they were going to publish you in?
It was guaranteed.
$97.
Yeah, $97, and it said within 24 hours.
Times 4.
And his pitch was, we'll help you establish credibility and authority.
Oh, right.
Within 24 hours, we would be published on 5 different publications or websites. But you had to write your own story that you wanted them to publish. So I think my title was, have you got the title there that I wrote?
No, I haven't got
I think my title was, so you give me a couple of suggestions.
Yeah.
Mike Winnett thinks paying for PR is bullshit, essentially was the title. And then my actual article was breaking down exactly what I was doing and why it was nonsense.
Right.
And I submitted it. He took my money off me, and it's not been published anywhere. So,
Have you been back in touch with him?
Yeah. So it said if you've not
Where's
been
he
published
based?
within 24 hours, he's American.
Right.
If you've not been published within 24 hours, drop me an email. I've dropped in 3 emails and he's not responded.
The website did look pretty sketchy, though.
It did, yeah. I've also sent him a message on.
$97.
I found him on Twitter, to which it said, I've now been blocked on Twitter. Please find me on Instagram.
God.
And I clicked on his
Tracking him
Insta and
down.
I've sent him a message saying, come on, it's been a week now. You've had my $97. I don't see my articles anywhere. But I thought I was being quite funny by actually breaking down
That is
why
funny.
paying for this publicity was absolute bullshit. So I've been had off by another entrepreneur.
That's it for this episode. We're continuing the chat over in our private Slack group where we'll be answering your specific questions about business, sales, marketing, and anything in between. If you want to join, you can sign up for free by clicking the link in the description. Special thanks to Sophie and Zoe for joining us today, and we'll include links to their socials in the description below so you can connect with them. And finally, if you enjoyed the chat, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and leave a like on this video.